and we'll get going. So start in a comfortable seated position, but again, your practice. So if actually you'd rather lie down to start with, and lie down. Or equally, if you'd rather be in child's pose, if you want that kind of internal focus, then come into child's pose. But just take a few moments to kind of land on your mat, settle. Move my screen a little bit. And then when you are kind of comfortable and the body feels relaxed, then maybe let the eyes closed, or as we are at home, if you've got a nice view out of a window, then look outside. Let's make the most of it. But if you're looking at something, try and have a steady gaze, so don't look at something that's moving around wildly. And if you're sitting, maybe just take, or even if you're lying, just take a few rolls of the shoulders, just to release any tension, particularly if you've been working hard sitting at a desk all day, or if you've been dealing with the, what I can only imagine is extremely stressful homeschooling. And then we'll start to focus on our breath. And we're going to slow our breath down, but keeping the inhale and the exhale equal. So because this is an evening class, we need to keep some energy going. When we come to move, we'll kind of let go a bit later on. But to begin with, just so we've still got the stimulation of an equal inhale, so that we mobilize. But allow the breath to gently and easily slow. So that we get that interplay between body feeding messages to mind, minding feeding messages back down, that we are in a safe space. Let the breath flow easily in and out through the nose. Unless you've got hay fever and you're a bit bunged up, then obviously use the mouth. And start to connect in with how you're feeling. And I think it's really important at this time to kind of be really honest with yourself about how you're feeling. I've had lots of conversations in the last week about how tired people are feeling, and lots of questions about why am I feeling tired, because it's not like I'm doing a huge amount, I'm at home. And I think it's really important to recognize that there is a collective grief process going on for what's happening. And there's also, for most of us, even if we're not aware of it, we are dealing with stress, we're processing a stress response. And both of those two things separately will lead the body to be tired. Stress makes you tired. And you add those two things together and it just compounds the situation. So if you're feeling tired, just kind of see if you can tune into what you need from your practice. Because it may be that you need to use your practice to bring some energy into the body. But equally, it may be that actually what you need is to be really soft and gentle and kind. And if you have a tendency to push yourself, always looking for the edge, then just take a moment to check in. Are you looking for that edge because that's the right thing to give you energy? Or do you actually need to soften a little bit? And there's no right or wrong. It's going to be really individual for all of you. But we can use our practice to feel into these kind of nuances and differences in the way that we are feeling and what we need, so that we can then take that off the mat into our day. Because let's face it, we're not on our mat for most of the day. We're here for 60 minutes, 90 minutes, maybe sometimes. The rest of our day, all of those other hours, we need to keep doing this checking in and listening to ourselves. And then because we're together as a collective, as a community, let's join our breath together. So even though we can't hear each other, just know that we're breathing as one. Let's take an inhale, part the lips and let it go as an audible sigh. 2 more. And 1 more. And then close the mouth and then find that slow, steady, rhythmic breathing. And then also remember that sound is a really great release. So as we move, as we start to practice, if you need to let out any noise, then let it out. And that could be as simple as a gentle sigh. It might be more like a groan or a howl, depending on how you're feeling. But don't hold it in, let it out. If you are sitting cross-legged, which I think lots of you are, just for a moment, change the cross of your legs so that we can balance out. If you are lying down on your floor, maybe roll over gently onto your side and bring yourself up to a seated position. Drawing hands together in heart center. We're going to inhale, lift fingertips to sky, let the gaze follow. Really reach up, so breathe into the armpits so you get that lift, and then exhale, float the arms down. We're starting to feel the shoulder joint moves, shoulder blades lift and then lower. So move with your breath. We'll do 1 more like that. And then we'll take it in the opposite direction. So palms up, lift up, reach up, palms meet, and then draw down to heart center. 2 more. Last time. And this time when the palms are in heart center, just draw the thumbs to touch the sternum, bow your head. Just take a moment to maybe set an intention for your practice. So that's something that you want to focus on. Could be as simple as a word or a phrase or a sense or feeling you want to cultivate. If nothing comes to mind, then just work with the breath. Your intention can be to stay with the breath throughout the practice. And see if you can keep that intention in center of mind. And then we'll gently open the eyes and come onto all fours. To begin with, just move through some cats and cows, so that gentle undulation of the spine. It was a pretty good indicator for me of how I'm feeling, where the stiffness is. But you guys have all been practicing for a while now, so if that linear cat-cow isn't working for you, isn't doing it for you, then move in different shapes. Allow the shoulders to roll and to release, allow the hips to snake. Moving with the breath, so getting that intimate connection. And can you notice as you move through your cat and cows, are you using your head? So it's a lot of the movement focused in the sort of cervical spine. Can you keep your head relatively still so that you can really notice what's going on in the thoracic and the lumbar? Might be a very subtle difference in the way you experience the pose. Couple more breaths. And then come back to stillness in your tabletop. We're going to inhale, lift the right arm up to the ceiling. And then as you exhale, you're going to bend the elbow, bring the palm onto the back of your head. Got that right for once. As you inhale, lift the elbow up. You're going to twist the torso to the side. And then as you exhale, curl down to the elbow point comes down to the floor. And then inhale Open the chest, lift the elbow. Big stretch onto the shoulder. Few more flowing with your breath. At the end of the next one, bring that right hand down, and then we'll take it on the other side. So use the inhale to float the left arm up, turn the chest, and then left palm comes onto the back of the head. Take another inhale, lift the breath into the armpit, and then exhale, elbow point comes down. Inhale, gently and softly lift up, strong on the shoulder muscles, upper back, and then come down. Keep going, keep flowing, keep feeling. It's good to work these muscles of the upper back. Let them get overstretched. Particularly if you sit a lot at a computer, we're just working on strengthening them. Make this the last one, and then come back into your tabletop. From here, we're going to take the right leg out behind you, coming onto the ball of the foot, and then arc that right foot behind the left. And then from here, walk your hands forward and come up onto the fingertips. So your hands are like little elephants. And then press your hips back. Let the head hang heavy. And the slight sort of drawing of the right hip forward might feel more of a stretch into the outer left hip. Breathe here. And can you be as light as possible on your fingertips? There's a tendency to kind of really press down. Rather than pressing down, can you almost feel like you're drawing up, which might mean that the hands go a little bit more domed. For 3, for 2, for 1. And then from here, walk the hands in a little bit so you come down onto the flat of the palms. You're going to bend the right knee and pop it behind the left. And then walk your bottom back again. Bring the hands back forward so that you're in that kind of on the fingertips position. And then walk the hands over towards the right. Stretch the hips back, feeling a stretch of the side body and into the outer hip. Breathe here. And then try maybe squeezing the inner thighs together to see how that changes the sensation. And then lifting up, walking the hands back forward, uncrossing the leg. And then one more, I'll show you on the left side. We're going to lift that right leg, bring it out to the side and come up onto the ball of the foot. Again, so the thigh is kind of at 90 degrees to the other leg. And then up onto fingertips and just gently, a little bit of rocking backwards and forwards. Let me show you this way. Couple more breaths. And then gently come back into your tabletop and take a moment here in stillness, just to let the resonance of those movements settle. And then we'll take it on the other side. So this time you're going to extend your left leg out behind you, come down onto the ball of the foot, and then sweep the left leg around to the side, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Walk the fingertips forward, coming up onto, well, walk the hands forward, coming up onto fingertips, and then gently press the hips back. And sense into this. I find it really different one side to the other in this shape. Breathe. Couple more breaths. And then walk the hands back in for a moment. You're going to slide that left knee behind the right, sort of on the outside of the right calf, and then come up onto fingertips again. Walk the hands forward, press your hips back. And then we're going to walk the hands over towards the left leg. And again, press the hips back. Walk the hands back to center. We're going to uncross the legs and then draw that left leg out to the side, coming up onto the ball of the foot. Hands forward again onto fingertips, and just that gentle pulse backwards and forwards. You can make it as small or as kind of dynamic as you want to, gentle or dynamic as you want to. Could even hold for 3, for 2, for 1. Good. And then gently slide back into your tabletop. Take a moment again, just to sense and feel. And then from there, curl the toes under, maybe walk the hands slightly forward so wrists are ahead of shoulders. Press down into the balls of the feet and gently lift yourself up into down dog. And then paddle the feet, just as we did in tabletop. Take any movements, just to allow you to feel and settle into the pose. And as we start to get more dynamic with our movements, with our flows, if you set an intention, come back to it now. Let's take some spinal rolls. So on your inhale, rise right up onto the balls of your feet. We're going to roll forward into a plank. So start with the sacrum, lift the mid back, lift the upper back, rolling forward into your plank. So shoulders over wrists. Hold plank for a moment so that you're strong, building some strength, rounding into the upper back. So you're protracting the shoulder blades. Try saying that quickly. And then from here, little bends in the knees, going to press the hips back and then lift up into your down dog again. We'll do 2 more in that direction. So roll up onto the balls of the feet and then round the spine, rolling forward into your plank. Holding your plank really firm. And then little bends of the knees, drawing the hips back and rolling up. Maybe the heels drop down. 1 more in this direction. So round up onto the balls of the feet. Lift, lift, lift. Ripple all the way forward. 1 last hold here. And then bend the knees and round back up. So we're going to take that in the other direction now. So we're going to bend our knees, and it's almost like we're kind of rolling forward into almost like an up dog. So the knees come forward, bend the elbows, lift up. So you're in an up dog essentially with the balls of the feet rather than the tops of the feet down. And then round, lift up and drop back down to down dog. Twice more. So we're going to bend the knees, inhale, bend the elbows, snake forward into your up dog modified, round back. Last time, bend the knees, bend the elbows, roll forward, nice and fluid. Fake it till you make it if it's not feeling fluid, and then round back. Take a moment in stillness in down dog, and then we'll get ready to flow. So from here, you're going to lift or bring both feet together in the at the back of the mat. And then as you inhale, slowly rise or raise the right leg. So with the fullness of your inhale. And then with your exhale, we're going to bend the knee, roll forward, and land the right foot in between the hands. Left foot turns in a little bit, and then gently on an inhale, rise up, warrior 1. We'll take a moment in this first round of a traditional kind of sun salutation flow to feel into the solidity of your legs. Notice if you're rolling into the ankle of the back foot. So press down through the outer leg through the pinky. One more breath here, and then exhale, open out, warrior two. Inhale, float forward, exhale, reverse. Inhale in your reverse. As you exhale, windmill the hands, swivel on the ball of the back foot, step back to plank, modify in line with your practice. Exhale, lower. Inhale into your back bends, Sphinx, Cobra or Up Dog, and exhale back down to Down Dog. Feet together at the back of the mat. Slowly, with the whole of your inhale, lift your left leg. As you exhale, round, bend the knee forward, land in between the hands, back foot turns in, slowly raise the arms. Take an extra breath here. As you exhale, open out to warrior two. As you inhale, surf forward, flip the palm, exhale, reverse. And then inhale, as you exhale, hands either side of the front foot, step back, make your way back to down dog. So we're going to do several rounds of this flow. So remember the vinyasa, you don't need to take the high plank to low plank to back bend transition. You can modify, you can come down to tabletop, you can just roll back. So when you're ready, you're going to inhale the right leg up again. Lift it tall. As you exhale, bend the knee, bring it forward in between the hands. Good. Back foot turns in. Rise up, warrior one. Open out, warrior two. Inhale, surf forward, flip that front palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. And then inhale, lift up. Exhale, frame the front foot, pivot on the back foot, make your way back to down dog. Good. From here, when you're ready, your left leg's going to come up to the ceiling. Use the exhale to bring it forward. Back foot turns in. Inhale, rise up, warrior one. Exhale, open, warrior two. Inhale, surf the front arm forward, flip the palm. Exhale, reverse. Inhale here, and then exhale, frame the front foot with the hands, pivot on the back foot, make your way back to down dog. All the way back. So bringing a bit of energy, a bit of heat and fire into the practice. Good. And we'll meet back in down dog. Give yourself 5 steady, smooth breaths there before we move on to the next sequence. Good. So when you're ready, you're going to inhale the right leg up again. A little bit of core work here. So as you exhale, with the fullness of the exhale, your right knee is going to come forward to your right tricep. Can you touch knee to tricep? Slowly inhale that right leg up again. This time we're going to go across the body. So right knee, left tricep. Try and keep the shin off the floor, the foot off the floor. Keep it parallel. Inhale, lift up again. Exhale, this time knee to nose. Round forward. Can you kiss your knee? Inhale, lift up. We'll go again. Right knee, right tricep. Can you flow forward really slowly? Control the movement. Inhale, back up. Right knee, left tricep. Underneath the body, twist and cross. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, knee to nose. Take an extra breath here and then land the foot down. Staying up on the ball of the back foot, slowly rise up, crescent lunge. And then in your crescent lunge, going to take the arms out into those goalposts. So we're going to dip down with a little bend in the back knee. The back knee doesn't touch the floor, but it's almost skimming it. So take an inhale, exhale, close the gate, come down. Inhale, lift up. And then when you come up, really squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale, come down. Press into the floor, lift up. And come down. 2 more. One more. Inhale here. Reach the arms up overhead again. We'll take this into a pyramid. So we're going to bring the hands onto the hips to begin with, keeping the pelvis floating, facing forward, and then hop the back leg in so you straighten it. Front leg straightens as well. Feet are both facing forward, kind of on train tracks. If you're feeling very stable, then bring them closer together so it's more like a tightrope. Take an inhale, lengthen through the front body, and then keeping those hips really parallel, sit bones moving behind, bring the torso forward. Don't lock the knees out, so a little bit of a micro bend. And then options for the hands, they can stay on the hips, they could reach down to the floor. That works if you've got gorilla arms like me. If you've got shorter arms in proportion to body, then you could bring the hands onto the shin, or as I say, onto the hips. If you want a little bit of extra load for the muscles of the back body, you could bring your arms out in front of you. Keep the back of the neck long, so look down. Breathe here steadily and evenly. And think about a straight spine. So rather than rounding into a cat shape, can you think of that kind of halfway? Yes, nicely adjusted, people. Sometimes we don't even realize we've rounded. Couple more breaths here. And then we're going to bring hands onto our hips, bend into the back knee, lift up onto the heel of the front foot. And again, maybe the hands come down towards the floor, or they can stay on the hips. Sit bones moving back, creating length in the lumbar. Don't lock out the knee, half Hanuman. For 3, for 2, for 1. Gently land that right foot down. Going to bring your hands down either side of the right foot, step the left foot back, and then come down onto the left knee, top of the left foot. And then gently rise. Raise, rise, the arms up towards the ceiling. Lift up, so you feel this lifting up out of the pelvis, but not tightening into the front body. From here, leave the left hand up, bring the right hand onto the outside of the right hip. Take a big breath in, lift up through the fingertips, and then take that left arm across the body so that the upper arm comes onto the outside of the right thigh. Let me turn this way. Hand into a gentle fist. And then lift the torso up. Take your right hand, thread it through the gap between your torso and your left arm, and just hold the outer right ribs. And then use that to draw the body deeper into your twist. So give yourself an assist. I can't do it for you because we're not together, but just feel that rotation and then gently take the right hand on top of the left. So it's like you're playing paper, scissors, rock. Right elbow up towards the ceiling. If it's comfortable for the gaze, look up as well, but it may not be, in which case look down to the floor and then breathe into that twist. But notice if you've got really hard and tense, can you soften? Unwind. One more posture in the sequence. Both hands come down on the inside of the right foot. Walk the right foot a little bit further forward and then walk it out to the side. We'll take a lizard variation. So you may want to keep the foot parallel, with the toes coming forward, or it may be more comfortable to angle the foot out to the side, a little bit like that shape we did in tabletop. You can even come onto the pinky toe edge of the right foot. And then just let yourself soften and sink. So come down onto hands, palms. Maybe forearm is available to you. It may not be. It's fine. You're just going to breathe into the shape. And then one final further option for those who want to take the quad stretch. Going to lean the pelvis a little bit further forward so that you can then kick up the left heel towards the butt. So you're not on the kneecap, you're above the kneecap. Going to take the right hand behind you, palm facing the same way as the right knee. And if you can, grab hold of the pinky toe edge of the foot. So the shoulder joint is open here rather than being closed. And then you can squeeze the top of the foot into the bottom, and you can kick the hand into the foot. You get that quad stretch. Again, light on the left hand. And then just so that we move and practice being moving between active or passive and active, then can you take that right hand away and hold the heel into the butt? It's really hard, you might get cramp. One more breath, and then slowly lengthen the leg down. Walk the right foot back into the lunge position. You may feel you want to just lift the right arm up towards the ceiling, and then bring the hand down on the outside of the foot. Lift the back leg, and then make your way back to down dog. However you want to get there. That might be a vinyasa. It might not be at this stage, but we'll meet in down dog. And then just feel your down dog mode. Maybe try bending your knees a little bit, and then sit bones lifting up back behind you so you get that length through the spine. Nice. Just seen a couple of really nice adjustments there. Beautiful. So let's take all of that on the other side. You're going to inhale your left leg up. Good, so we'll start with that claw work. So as you exhale, left knee to left elbow. Inhale it up again. So go slowly, control the movement. Left knee, right tricep. So across the body. Good. Inhale up. This time knee to nose. Good. And then we'll repeat it again. Inhale up, left knee, left tricep. Inhale up, left knee, right tricep. Inhale up, left knee in towards the nose in the center, round to the upper back. Take an extra breath here, and then softly land the foot and bring it in between the hands if it doesn't get there to begin with. Staying up on the ball of the right foot. Engage the legs, feel those inner thighs come squeeze in to hold you, and then slowly bring the arms up, and we'll take them into the goalposts. So this time, rather than squeezing in, we're going to lift up and pull down. So again, back leg bending the knee, hovering just off the mat. So inhale, arms up, exhale, slow pull down. And inhale up, exhale down. Got 3 more. So the inhale is quite buoyant and lifts you up, and exhale, you ground down. We've got 2 more. Last time. Can you go up even more slowly? Good. And then this time, as you exhale, hands onto hips, hop that back foot in, setting up for a pyramid on our left side. So making sure that the hips are nice and square, root down through the legs, micro bend, and as you exhale, folding forwards, not locking out the knees. And then those various different options. So hands on the floor, hands on the shin, hands out in front, or the other variation, the hands reaching behind you. So really kind of sparking out through the fingertips. crown of the head reaching forward so that the cervical spine is long and in line with the rest of the spine. And then think about the distribution of weight through the feet. Is it all hanging forward into that left foot? For 3, for 2, for 1. Then we're gently going to bring the hands back onto the hips. Bend into the right foot, lift up onto the heel of the left foot. Maybe stabilize with fingers down into your half Hanuman variation. Again, thinking about lengthening through the spine. Bending, a little micro bend into that left knee. For 3, for 2, for 1. And then softly landing that left foot down, hands frame. Hop the right leg back, drop down onto the knee, and slowly bring the arms up overhead. Getting ready to come into the twist. So this time, left arm stays up, right arm crosses over into the twist, making a gentle fist with the right hand. So the left hand is going to slide underneath, take hold and twist a little deeper. So give yourself that assist and then let the hands gently rest on top and breathe into the shape. Good. And just really make sure your neck is comfortable. So if sometimes looking up can feel really tight. We're still getting the twist through the thoracic spine, which is where our focus is, wherever the gaze lands. For 3, for 2, for 1. Use a long, slow exhale to unwind. Going to bring the hands down on the inside of the left foot, walking it out to the side, prepping for our lizard. So any variations, you may want to slide the right leg back a little bit, coming onto the side of the left foot, staying up on hands or working down onto forearms. Sometimes the floor can feel really far away to come down fully onto forearms. So you could come down onto one forearm and one palm, or you can stack yourself with blocks or books. Taking a few moments to feel into this shape before we add in the quad stretch for those who want to. And then the important thing, if you're going to take the quad stretch variation, is the pelvis is going to lean forward a little bit so you can lift that back leg and safely not put pressure on the actual kneecap. Your left hand reaches behind you, palm facing to the side, finding the foot, squeezing the heel into the bum and resisting with the top of the foot. Shoulder joint is open, not closed. And then once you're there, there's still kind of integrity through the pelvis. So you're not just dumping and collapsing down. There's a lift there. Holding and breathing. And then for those that want you to let go with the hand, but keep the heel into the butt. Doesn't feel so bad on this side for me. Oh no, I spoke too soon. So active mobility here for 3, for 2, for 1. Gently land the foot down. Walk the left foot in, hand on the outside, lift the right knee, and make your way back to down dog, however you want to get there. And then paddle the feet. Make the moves that you want to make, the moves you want to make. And then coming back to stillness. We're going to come forward into a squat. So we're going to lift the right leg up towards the ceiling as we breathe in. And then as you exhale, that right knee comes forward towards the tricep, and then you're going to land the right foot on the outside of the right hand. Then we're going to do the same with the left foot. So take an inhale, left foot comes onto the outside of the left hand. So you're in this kind of crouchy squat position. This may feel enough for you. If you're okay coming down lower, then come down lower. You could come up onto the balls of the feet if having the feet flat is uncomfortable. And then really focus on, if you're staying up in this higher squat, then enjoy the activation of the quads. If you're down lower, then I want you to really focus on pressing through the outside edges of the feet so you're not collapsing into the arches. It's something I've become really aware of recently that I do without even realizing. My ankles are actually really quite weak, I've discovered. So focus on that pressing down, that engagement, lifting the spine. For 3, for 2, for 1. If you're in the low squat, bring your hands behind you and gently sit down. If you're in the higher squat, bring the hands out in front of you and then bring yourself down to a kneeling position, bump over onto your bottom and join us. So once you're sitting down, I'm going to take the legs wide. I want you to take them wide enough that you can feel the stretch, but not so that it's really intense when you're just sitting. And then a couple of modifications to help us get into our forward fold here. I want you to lift up so that you can slide the flesh of the buttocks slightly out of the way, and so that your sit bone is moving back. I'll show you sideways on. So the sit bone here is drawing back on both sides. And then the other thing to think about is the flesh on the inner thighs is rolling down and under. That just helps get the pelvis in its optimal position. I'm going to inhale, reach the arms up. And then let's just stay here for a moment and notice, just soften and just notice what happens to your legs. So there's sort of 3 possibilities. They might stay in a really lovely neutral position. Hopefully the adjustments we just made in the pelvis will help. But for lots of us, they'll do one of 2 other things. They might roll inwards, which is what mine tend to do, or they might roll outwards, which is anyone who knows Charlotte Temple, that's what hers do naturally. So we want to bring them into this neutral position with the toes reaching up. And those adjustments help that. So inhale, lift up, feel length through the sides of the body. And then imagine that you're trying to catch a ball. So we're not rounding into the spine, we're leaning and reaching, leaning and reaching, leaning and reaching. And then at some point, when we've reached that edge, let the hands come down, let the shoulders relax. Maybe the head releases a little bit. But even here, we're not rounding and collapsing into the front body. There's still length there so that we can breathe freely. And then maybe we can walk our hands a little bit further forward. And then it may well be that you suddenly notice that you've got very tight in the backs of the legs, maybe even in the quads too, because you're leaning forward. Once you've got to that position, can you soften so that you can almost feel the muscle releasing down into the bone? So it's not really tight, it's soft. And that's kind of sensation that we want, a softness rather than a hardness and a gripping. Breathe here. Because I promise you, if you can release and soften, it will allow the body to move into a deeper expression, and you're much less likely to hurt yourself. For 3, for 2, for 1. And then slowly, slowly, slowly walk your hands back in so that you bring yourself back up. And then we're going to bend the right leg and bring the sole of the foot into the inner thigh. If your knee is floating around in space and it feels uncomfortable, then use a brick or a book just to provide some support. Again, those sit bones are moving back. The pelvis is soft. We're going to bring our hands either side of the left foot, turn the body towards the left, then inhale the arms up. Going to reach up, and then we're going to lean over, again, thinking about length through the front body and stretching. And then notice again, particularly for me on the, well, actually on both legs, suddenly there's a hardness, there's a gripping going on here. Can you soften down? Maybe feel like the skin on the back body is releasing. And it may be that you've got long arms or lots of flexibility and you can reach the foot to help you. Maybe the hands come down onto the ankle or the calf, but never using that as a way of kind of pulling you into position. It's just to provide some support, some grounding, some connection. And then from here, walk the hands back in. This time we're going to turn the body towards that right leg. Your left forearm is going to come and rest down on your left shin. Turn, and you could even take that right hand onto the left ribs, and just as we did in that twist in the lunge, use that to help the body to turn. So it's not aggressive, it's just a soft assist to give the body the information of where it's going. Then the right hand lifts up, and it might lift over towards the left foot, or it might stay reaching up to the ceiling, breathing into that space under the armpit. At the same time, root down through your right sit bone. Really lovely stretch into the lats and the QLs, which again can get pretty tight. Let the head hang heavy. Good. For 3, for 2, for 1. And then use the right fingertips moving through the air to lift you gently back up. And we'll swap over to the other side. So see if you can swap over without using hands. So again, we're moving into the position using active mobility, not passive. So good to turn the body towards that right leg. Same adjustments. Sit bones, draw back behind you. Flesh of the inner thighs roll in. Support the left knee this time. So foot straight up to the ceiling. Going to inhale, reach up. So still working those muscles of the upper back. And then as you exhale, somebody's throwing that ball for you again. And take as many breaths as you need to find that position, keeping the length in the front body. Until you think, yeah, that's it. That's where I'm going to land. And then just breathe there. Notice I can feel it on my right leg. There's a tenseness and a gripping that's happening. Can I soften down? And that softening doesn't mean that you're not working, doesn't mean that the muscle isn't activated. Just might mean that you can move a little bit deeper. For 3, for 2, for 1. Use the inhale to walk yourself back up. We're going to turn the body now towards the left knee, right forearm, that's what it's called, onto the right calf. Left hand, slide onto the right ribs, and use that to give yourself that assist to just turn, root down through both sit bones, then inhale the left arm up. And then you decide where it wants to move to or stay. Oh, that's so much tighter this side for me. I'm going to stay with the arm straight up. Breathing into the space you create. And even as you're probably feeling this big stretch, this big opening into the left side body, again, just take your awareness momentarily to the legs. Can you release down? For 3, for 2, for 1. And then left fingertips guide the body all the way back up. And then let's bring both legs out in front for a moment. So just sitting in Dandasana before we come down. Take a couple of gentle back bends. Don't want to do big, huge back bends at this time of the evening because it can interfere with sleep. But so sitting up again, thinking about this natural curving of the spine, drawing the head back as well, so not poking the chin forward. Shoulders relaxed. Really good to practice sitting like this and letting softness come into the body, but building a lot of core strength. Make sure that you're not too far back on your mat so that when you come to lie down, you're not going to run out of space. Arms out in front of you. And then we're going to bring the chin down to the chest and then gently curve down towards the floor. So seeing if you can feel the different parts of your spine articulate down and land separately rather than kind of crashing down in one straight board all the way down. And then once you're down, draw the arms overhead, take a full body stretch, pointing the toes or flexing, pointing, flointing. And then as you exhale, draw your hands down by your side, bend your knees, land the feet, and set yourself up for your bridge pose. So just touching the heels in the middle with the middle finger. And then we're going to take 3 rounds of bridge in this kind of undulating wave. If you want to add the arms in, by all means do, if you've got space. We're going to use the inhale to gently lift up. If you're adding the arms in, then they're going to come all the way behind you, touching down if that's available on the inhale, and the exhale, taking it back the other way. Thinking of a wave-like motion rather than just a hinge up and down. 2 more times with your movement, with your breath. Good. Notice which muscles are engaging here to lift and which are releasing as you soften down. And when you get to the when you get to the end of the 3rd round, couple of options. One is to take constructive rest, so feet to the edge of the mat, knock the knees together in the air, or taking Supta Baddha Konasana, so soles of the feet together, legs open out into the shape of a diamond. And then if you're in that shape, actually whichever shape you're in, one hand onto the heart, one hand onto the belly. Let everything soften. Feel gravity acting to help everything release down. And then from here, bring your hands onto the outside of your thighs, draw the knees together. I'm going to cross the right leg over the left. Draw the arms out to the side, either at 90 degrees or into goalposts. Take a long, slow inhale. And then as you exhale, you're going to drop the knees over to the left. So you'll come onto the inside of the right foot, the pinky toe edge of the left foot. And it's very likely that the knees won't come all the way down to the floor. It's absolutely fine. Focus on keeping the right shoulder resting down. And gaze whichever way is comfortable for your neck. I'm going to spend a couple more breaths here. Catherine, I know you've got to whiz off in a minute, so make sure you balance out and do it on the other side by crossing the left leg over the right. Everyone else just stay here for a moment longer. And then we're going to inhale, knees back to center, Uncross the legs, hug the knees into the chest. And then we'll swap over to the other side. So right leg down or right foot down, cross the left knee over the right, arms back into that wide or goalpost position, and use an exhale to gently take the knees over to the left. Keeping that process of releasing and softening. For 3, for 2, for 1. Gently draw the knees back to center, uncross them, give yourself a hug. And then we're going to set up for rest pose. So just as a reminder, if anybody feels, I'll keep you here for somewhere between 4 and 5 minutes. If anybody feels like they want and have the ability to take a longer Shavasana, please do feel free to turn your camera off. Won't be offended at all. If you are staying with me, then wrap up, get yourself really comfortable for your rest. Use any props, blankets, jumpers, socks, and then bring yourself down to settle into a comfortable rest position. Maybe taking a few rounds of breath where you hold at the top of the inhale, allow everything to tense, and then let the exhale release to facilitate that softening and that letting go. But if you're ready to just come into stillness straight away and take your rest, then do that. And then just before you let go completely, if you set an intention, come back to it now, just to give a focus for your rest. And then start to bring awareness back. If you are needing to come out of Shavasana so that you can get on with your evening, as I say, if it feels right to stay, please stay as long as you need. If you're coming with me, start to bring gentle movement in. Fingers and toes. Stretch as you need to. And then when you're ready, roll over onto one side. And stretch the arm that you are lying on out underneath your head. Bring the other hand down in front of your torso. Press the hands down and slowly bring yourself up to a seated position. Let the eyes stay closed or focus softly on a single point. And draw the hands into heart center. Taking these last few moments of your practice, your time on the mat, to just tune in once again, sort of coming full circle, to check in with how you're feeling now. Feel any resonance of the practice in your body, any change in energy, any shift in mental, physical, or emotional state. And that doesn't mean that that's necessary or a given, it's just about noticing. And then let's take 3 shared breaths together. Take an inhale and release through the mouth. 2 more. Last time. And then from here, start to rub your palms together. And as you rub them, you'll generate heat. And it gets really warm. Cup your hands over your eyes. Notice the colour in your mind's eye. And then let your eyes softly open into that space. Draw your hands down into heart center. Thank you so much for sharing your Monday evening with me. Namaste. I'll find a more elegant way of doing that.